What is going on, friends? Tip of the cap. Thanks for being here. Happy Tuesday. Glad to be back here. Squealing and yelling, squirming, maybe cranking your bag for a bit, maybe tickling your dirt star a little bit. So just welcome and open up your brown eye, because I've got a bike and I'm about to park it in there. What's the good word? Burnin' Brit, what's going on, fam? How are you? I'm drinking coffee at night because I'm a psycho. I'm a menace. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. The world is literal garbage on actual literal fire. Everything is stupid. The world is actual trash. And really, there's no redeeming qualities for the literal planet anymore. So I figured I would just come on here and squander your time and tickle your grundle. Look, I titled today's episode, Everything is Dumb, because everything is, in fact, dumb, and everything is stupid and dumb and worthless, and everything is on fire. But I actually found it kind of interesting thinking about what I was going to talk about today, and I was just kind of reflecting on some things, depending on where you're from, that I've noticed in the recent political ball game, as it were. Somebody on Facebook said, twist my balloon knot. You got it. Here for duty. Let me just crank one into your brown eye. Somebody said grundle. I like that comment on Instagram. Glad to see all the right people are here. Just people commenting grundle. Twist my balloon knot. Always a good thing. Everything is going great so far. So one thing that I've noticed about the political bag of rice that we happen to find ourselves in, at least I do every day, squandering my precious time on this literal spinning mysterious blue ball in an endless wasteland of garbage, is that it's like it's like all the people you thought, were good, might not be as good as you thought. And that's kind of the thing that I've been realizing lately, is just like, when it really comes down to it and somebody's trying to park their 4x4 in your brown eye, a lot of these folks with an X, they tend to cave to just taking a little bit of cashola, some of that cheddar, to just basically sell out their opinions. That's allowed. Oh, that's Jesus, perhaps Yeshua, is clapping some sounds in the distance to thank, perhaps to let me know that I'm on the right track. Maybe not. I don't know. Blasphemous, whatever. Anyways, so a lot of my favorite political commentarians, as it were, I feel like have just sold out to just being a bag of rice. And I gotta admit, Jack, it's a little disheartening, Bill. Because it's crazy. I was following a person on Instagram the other day, and they posted a paid ad from the Donald J. Ball game campaign. And look, you gotta make money. I get it. Like, you have sponsors, whatever. I get it. But I just hope or wish or hope people can realize how obvious it is when somebody does something like this, that their opinion can no longer be trusted as being non-biased. And I'm not saying that they weren't already willing to puppet whatever the Donnie camp says. And it's not even just about Donnie. This really goes for any political whomever. But it's like, if you're going to sell a paid ad from X political campaign, I don't trust your opinion about politics anymore, because you've sold to a specific campaign. Like, for example, if you guys came on here and you saw me put out a Ron DeSantis ad, for example, even though you may believe that I think Ron DeSantis is the best candidate, and I've said I've spoken as such into existence, occasionally to my detriment, it's like, from that point going forward, it would be reasonable for you to not trust that any of my opinions are no longer biased towards my willingness to or my desire to sell additional advertisements to the aforementioned campaign. It's like, if I sold an ad for the DeSantis campaign, could I ever really be expected to be a non-biased party when it came to anything that the DeSantis campaign would potentially do wrong going forward? Now, I personally have not sold any advertisements to a political campaign, but the point is just that it's like, our supposed non-biased entities that are supposedly out here giving you their unfettered takes of politics and what they really believe is going on in the political sphere are not without influence. And I think that that's something that's really important to remember as we go forward in this hyperbolic time, where it's just like a lot of people are beholden to the cash flow responsibilities that they have to maintaining their channel's profitability. So they're willing to sell advertisements and or pump one campaign specifically, whether they believe it or not, in order to maintain their cash flow, whether that be through t-shirt sales or paid advertisements or whatever. And I find this especially sad in an environment where people feel like the mainstream media, for example, is completely biased, bought and paid for. A lot of the news outlets are completely biased, bought and paid for. And now you have your like micro-influencer type people also being bought and paid for. And you have to really wonder whose information and whose opinion is actually in fact their own. So I think it's actually a really interesting thing that I've been paying a lot of attention to lately. That's kind of made me even more thankful that I've been doing what I've been doing, because I know that I'm not participating in this. And what's actually interesting about this is that for anybody that's out there that may consider throwing their hat in the ring, that may consider having talking about political commentary or talking about political things because they believe that the conversation needs their voice and thus would be better with them involved in it as opposed to not, I would like to encourage you to get into the conversation and participate, because as each one of these titans of non-biased belief, of independent thought, kind of like falls to the wayside of their I guess their allegiance to income. I think it opens up the marketplace for non-biased people that are not sold out, that are willing to say what they actually truly think and believe without the umbrella of some other entity dictating to them directly or indirectly what they need to say. And I think that that's actually needed in the marketplace. Somebody on Facebook said, do you still have a shopping code for Antons? The coupon code is SAUCE for free shipping. So that was kind of like the main crux of the message was, I see a lot of these large accounts that are doing kind of like one of two things, and not all of them, certainly not all of them, but a lot of the large accounts are just like twisting into a pretzel to push forward the thing that will allow them to remain in the social club and or the monetary flow of whichever campaign they seem to align themselves with, or the t-shirt sales or whatever. And the other side of it is the people that are just like literally forced to do so, to not say things because of the entity or umbrella that they're underneath. And it's crazy because the deeper that you get into the political sphere, as it were, kind of like any industry, you start to realize how many snakes in the grass there actually are, and how even when you go in like bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, you kind of don't realize how many like dark entities are actually out there. And it's very discouraging, to say the least, because it's like once you get to a certain point, it's almost like you know too much. You've seen too much. Once you see how many factions are at work. Not only with like the political persecution of people like Donnie and all of the lies and stuff that they sell us about people like Joey Dumpster, etc., but like the micro influencer and or political commentary class is largely persuaded and or dictated to by who they're financially or audience or who they're beholden to maintain their audience. So I find that kind of interesting. Also, the other thing that I wanted to do on this podcast specifically is take any questions and answer some questions from people in the comments and interact with you, because I do think that the comments and the engagement is something that I've kind of been missing a lot lately, and I don't want to make it just about my one track monologue throughout the conversation. I wanted to kind of answer some questions and or talk about some topics that might be valid to you, because I think that there's this, at least from my perspective, there's this weird political lull I think is happening right now, which is a combination of like, we want to just see who wins the primary so we can see who to align behind. And then we also don't want to pay attention to the political happenings of the current mainstream and the current left, the party that's in control, because it's just like full on, full tilt, like full court press demonry. And you even have people like the Clinton Global Initiative happening just this week, where Hillary Clinton, like she slithered out from underneath a rock from like the cave in which she came. And she literally said that she was like, climate change disproportionately affects women and girls. And it's like, how? Like, how? What the fuck does that mean? She literally says this, and it's just, this is the level of just like full tilt, lying, demonry, gaslighting garbaggio that these people are allowed to push with absolutely no pushback from anybody. And like, what's the stories that are in the news today? It's like some BS, potentially BS stuff about Russell Brand from 10 years ago. And then it's, or 10 plus years ago, which may or may not be true, but all of a sudden he can get canceled because a person just actually just announces that it exists. And then you have accusations against Tim Ballard. And it's just like, these are the two things that are in the news right now. And it's just like, the border's open. We're in a proxy war overseas. Like Joey Basement's meeting with Prezi Green t-shirt, fake army fatigues. My wife is posing in front of a tank on Thursday, and the Senate is getting ready to throw them more money. And I actually heard a really interesting comment the other day, specifically relating to Ukraine, which is just great because, you know what I mean? Because let's just give them everything, you know what I mean? Like, just pull off, just open up your Dirt Star and take all your money and just throw it at Zelensky because he's better than you and braver than you, and he's saving everybody, guys. And if you watched his 60-minute interview where freaking Dweebus McDuff or whoever this dirt merchant guy, he's like talking all serious, he's like, and then President Zelensky, They pump this dude up. They pump this dude up so much with fake stuff. It's insane. In the clip, when he's interviewing Zelensky, this dude's doing the voiceover, even though Zelensky speaks English and can easily speak English. And I've seen him speak English before, but he's talking in Ukrainian the whole time because whatever. So he dubs over the voiceover for Zelensky. And at the very beginning of the interview, you guys should watch it. It's on 60 Minutes. You can watch it on YouTube. Zelensky sits down and he's like, Zelensky is pretty jovial and happy for a person who's in a war torn. Like Zelensky's on the front lines, like with throwing knives. When really he's just like pulling people out of prison and like throwing them an M4 and like go. And they're just like firing artillery at each other because that's fine. Because that's totally fine. I think 500,000 people have died, but who cares, right? Who cares about that? It's a fake war. Like, okay, guys, that's all great. I'm glad we're funding that for all these people to needlessly perish, but whatever. You know, us, blue and yellow. I stand with Ukraine. Anyhow, At the very beginning, Zelensky, who's a literal actor in fake army fatigues, literally wearing a loose collar green T-shirt. Like, the guy has a washing machine. Like, the guy's boarding planes and trains and automobiles. The guy has a fucking suit, and people are like, he's in a war. No, he's not. The guy is sitting behind a desk on he's at the Grammys. He's on video at the Grammys. Like, thank you so much. It's like, this guy has a collar. Like, he couldn't get into a country club like restaurant, and he's just like, give me $20 billion. But at the beginning of the interview, he sits down and he's just like, Zelensky is jovial and happy and pretending everything's okay. And Zelensky's like, because he's rich. And then on camera, while all the fucking cameras are there, he does this. I'm going to be Zelensky for a minute. It's like a voiceover. He's not even saying anything. It's just the camera. He's like, it's like, he knows he's on camera. He's a literal actor. This human person is a literal actor. He's on camera, makeup, lights, everybody's there. And they're making it seem like this guy is just so troubled that he has this moment of mental breakdown where he can't handle himself on the 60 Minutes interview. So he laughs, and then the gravity of the situation just sets into Zelensky. And all of a sudden his pecker soggies up and his dirt star clenches, and he's like, eh. It's like, dude, the guy's an actor. Like, give me a break. And it's like, you can just see so clearly, like, that they want you to believe that it's like bad guys versus good guys. They're like Putin's unprovoked war. It's like, is it unprovoked? I'm just saying, it's like, if you look into even the slightest bit of historical information about what went on over there and how we've just been doing all of the things there and just like cranking their bag and poking the bear, it's like, did he just wake up one day? And even this dude on 60 Minutes, he said that Putin is doing nation building vanity. It's like, yeah, bro. Yeah, he started a fucking war for vanity. Yeah, that's why he did it. It's definitely not because of like mysterious biolabs or anything that was allegedly a conspiracy theory and then turned out to be true. It's not because of like it's not because of the historical precedent of this very hyperbolic region. I'm sure it's just that. I'm sure that's why they cut us off from seeing what Putin has to say. I'm sure that's why they can't show RT in the United States. I'm sure because all of the things that he actually says, getting his actual perspective on things and his literal words out of his literal face. I'm sure they're hiding those words because he's saying all of the bad things. It's like, okay, but meanwhile they're willing to like pull this guy out of they're willing to like pull this guy out of their back pocket in fake army fatigues and be like, give him $100 billion. It's like, yeah, guys, I'm sure that's all it is. Meanwhile, the photographers from Vogue went over there because it's so dangerous. All right. And the more you pay attention to politics, the more you realize just how fake all this stuff even is. Like, I remember when Joey Dumpster, like when they like injected steroids into his dirt star and like got him all hopped up to walk around in the front of the fucking castle over there with Zelensky. And then they sounded like the air raid alarms or whatever when there was no air raid. There's no threat whatsoever. So they fake sounded the alarm for a fake emergency and then had Biden and Zelensky walking around with it. And then they shot all this B-roll and film of it. And now they're using this B-roll of the fake air raid siren and they're incorporating it into their commentary about Ukraine. How President Biden is so brave because he went to an active war zone and walked with Zelensky during an air raid siren. It's just like, but if you started paying attention 5 minutes ago, or if you got paid up the back door, like Harry Sisson and his very emotional, very estrogen laden friends, it's like any person can see how obvious this stuff is. It's so crazy. But what blows my mind about it all, which I never had anticipated from the start, was that just like these people lie, people on the right lie the same. It's crazy. And like, It's like everybody's lying. It's so disconcerting. It's like dark. It honestly is. It's sad. And if I didn't have an income outside of this, if I didn't have a way to monetize my life, like if I didn't have a job that allowed me to do this, I can understand why people are willing to sell out their soul, because this game is hard. I feel bad for people that think that there's a lot of money in this game if you tell the truth and keep your integrity, because there's really not. And it's like, if you want to be a demon sellout, or if you want to pretend like, or if you want to tell the truth, know the truth, speak the truth, and be involved in distributing the truth, there may eventually be a time where somebody dangles money in front of your face, and then you're beholden to that umbrella that helps you finance it. You're beholden to that paycheck or those parameters or whatever the case may be. And I just see all of these people, all of these independent truth seekers, truth speakers, truth peddlers of sort, just like fall victim to just like the cash out moment. And it's wild. I understand how so many people get there. And it just makes me, it's very discouraging, because you start to realize that like the vast majority of people that are commenting on politics are political operatives in one way or the other, where their information is, omitted intentionally because they don't want to draw attention to the wrong thing, or they will overlook stories that otherwise should get attention because they don't want to be part of the counter narrative, or they understand that in order to keep selling the advertisements to the people that they advertise to, that they have to toe the line. So they're like, they just justify it in their head where they're like, well, I got to feed my family or whatever. And it's almost like that. Like when I first started doing this, I was like, wow, this is something that has great purpose, that has meaning, that I feel is needed in the marketplace. The marketplace is telling me to do this because it's rewarding me with attention, followers, likes, views, etc. And then people were like buying merch and other things. And I was like, wow, like this, not only could it be purposeful, but it could also be lucrative should you continue doing the right thing. But now it's like, I've gotten to the point where it's like I barely want to sell anything or push anything because I don't want to take away from the message. Now, on occasion, I will do that. I will talk about a sponsor, only a sponsor that I know, like, and trust and use. But it's like, it's such a fragile game where it's like, I saw this the other day where it's like somebody is a person out there that's a supposed truther that's like, that literally has a sponsored ad from a political campaign. And it's like, well, could I ever trust that your opinion was your opinion now? If you sell an ad to a political campaign, like, for example, right now in primary season, it's like, could I trust that your opinion is your own? Like, if you saw an ad for me from DeSantis, right? Would you trust that anything that I said from here going forward as it related to DeSantis, or something that might be bad, or something that he does that I disagree with? Would you trust it? Because I wouldn't trust it. And that's the thing that throws me, is like, a lot of the people are not as blatant with it, where we don't even recognize who their allegiance is to because it's not as obvious. And these types of people frustrate me even more because they're like rage posting. They're like rage posting political talking points of the day to like get everybody worked up and get the clicks and get the views without there being like a purpose to it. And I'll give you a perfect example. I've made fun of John Fetterbeef like 500 times, probably 5,000 times. I even made fake campaign ads of like making fun of slogans related to him when he was running against Dr. Oz. where like he is the most hilarious, like fake, just like bag of garbage to make fun of. It's low hanging fruit in the comedic realm, as it were. I'm sure you can all understand that. Thank you, John, on YouTube for the comment. He said, I really wish I could meet this guy. I love his content. But John Fetterbeef is the most obvious and easy thing to make fun of imaginable. This week, the Senate laxed the Senate rules on the dress code in Congress so that John Fetterbeef could could like finish a bone and then like get out of his house where his wife just like dominates his entire life and his existence is miserable. So he could go to work in his in his Carhartt hoodie and sloppy shorts. So he could like use 1/3 of his brain, that's the only part of it that's still operating, to wear his gym shorts to vote on the Senate floor. And my first instinct was like, what an obvious, thank you, One Fit Carol, for the badge. I really appreciate that. Thank you. It's like, what an obvious joke. Like, Fetterbeef is a literal bag of meat with an outfit that would make you embarrassed to go to the local grocery store, embarrassed to go to the store and purchase like a pack of Newports. And this guy's wearing this in like a hall of Congress. Like, you wouldn't wear that to a fucking funeral. You wouldn't wear that. You wouldn't wear that to lunch. You wouldn't wear it on a date. And this guy is wearing it representing millions upon millions of people. This guy is emblazoned into the history books for the remainder of time. Like, John Fetterbeef will be more popular in the book of history than probably 99.9% of us. Like, he's sitting in a prestigious location with literally half a brain wearing his gym shorts. And it's just like, he looks like he just somersaulted out of Ross Dress for Less. The guy looks like a garbage bag on wheels. And I was like, well, this is an obvious video. You know, Fetterbeef is a sloppy disaster. He's using 1/3 of his brain. He has no brain wrinkle. Like, he's not here. But then I was like, well, what's the point of this? I'm rage posting about how there's no decorum in Congress. It's like, yeah. We already know that. So it's just like, that's the type of stuff where it's like me complaining about it, making a video about it, using it for likes and clicks for something that like has no purpose is like the low hanging fruit of attention in this game. So it's just like, don't you guys think that Fetterbeef should wear a suit? And like, we all know that. It's like, it's so obvious and it's so blatant and it's such like a demoralization tactic that to me, I was like, I don't even want to talk about this because there's nothing that I could do because the Senate is doing certainly a lot worse things. And there's a lot worse things that are happening in politics. Me just complaining about this is me essentially, you know, yelling about the kids picking up the baseball off my lawn or whatever. It's like I'm yelling into the void, but I will get the gas. You know, it's like I'll get the attention, I'll get the views, it'll get the shares. And like part of the comedic side of it and the attention graph side of it says do that. But the other side of me is like, wait, isn't there supposed to be a purpose here? Isn't there supposed to be like a call to action? Is this the worst thing? And then as predicted, Fetterbeef comes out and literally goes, of all the things to pay attention to, don't you guys think there's something more important than me wearing gym shorts in Congress? And the sad part about it, this half-wit meatbag is like, he actually is right. And even though he's right for the wrong reasons, because he's clueless and he doesn't know what planet he's on, and he like literally just somersaulted out of Ross Dress for Less. He literally picked it up off the ground and was like, this'll work. And his wife was like, I'm in charge now. Is that like, that's the type of thing that, you know, me at the beginning of this operation would have been like, this is an obvious thing. Now, if I had made a video about it for some comic relief, fine. But like these other accounts, for example, like an account that's not doing comedy, let's say, that's giving us the news. Okay, fine, it's the news, that's fine. But it's like, there's a lot of accounts that will use those types of things, these types of topics to like gas everybody up, get everybody to complain in the comments. But there's no There's no end result to it. There's no solution. There's no call to action. There's no anything. It's just like, isn't this stupid? And it's like, yeah, it is stupid. But there's nothing beyond that. And that's the thing that I've been kind of struggling with mentally in my mind about how I choose what content to put out, where I'm just like, it's like, if it's not purposeful and it's not funny, like if it's not funny but it's purposeful, it's a go. If it's funny and it's purposeful, it's a go. If it's just funny, it's not always a go. It's kind of like a weird internal dialogue that I've been having lately, where I'm like, in the event that this was to reach somebody, would I want to just like crank their bag and tickle their grundle and get them all worked up about the fact that they're obviously laughing in our face about stuff? Or would I like to try to make a comedic nugget out of something that maybe is a little bit more purposeful and worth paying attention to? That's been the thing I've been trying to do lately. And as a result, it means that you output less content. The content is a little bit more difficult to come by. It takes more thought and more time, but it's counterproductive to the attention suck that most of these accounts need in order to monetize themselves and or grow. But what I believe is the case, and it's up to you and only time will tell, is that I believe that you, the viewer, is smart enough to understand and see what I am in fact doing, and what a lot of the other accounts that are not just selling out to whatever's the rage post of the day are actually in fact doing. And I do believe that this strategy, as it were, will stand the test of time. And I think that hopefully, the road rises to meet that. Not that I'm like, putting out the hardest hitting content of all time, but I hope that you recognize and see through the content that is in fact what I'm trying to do. That's the long-winded just kind of thought of the day. Thanks, Raquelita. She said, you're one of the few accounts I follow nowadays and watch all the videos for what it's worth. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Russ on Facebook says, not sure how you can make these decisions, but you do well, man. Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to do the best that I can and learn, and I appreciate that people come along for the ride. Thank you, Lana. She says it's important to stay real. It's not common, but recognize, appreciate that. Thank you, Kathy. Says, I see you. Yeah, I mean, and I just, thank you, Pixie on the Beach. I think that we all could learn from this as people that could potentially contribute to the conversation, where it's like, if you believe that, like, one of the things that I was frustrated about and why I even started doing this in the first place is because I genuinely and wholeheartedly cared about what was going on. And I felt very frustrated with the fact that I felt alone in my thoughts about that, that so many people seem to not care about it. So I started yelling into my phone, and all of a sudden, this attention sort of came out of nowhere. And throughout this process, I've learned that I want to try to pass that message on to other people, where it's like, if you want to create content and if you want to participate in this conversation, you have to think of it as if it's like a constant challenge to be the highest level version of what you can be, and to put out the highest possible piece of content that you can every single time, and like really put your all into it. Because I've been trying to do that, and it is very hard. But I think that I sleep well at night knowing that I haven't sold out to some monetary flow or some social club that dictates to me what I can and can't say. And I think that will become more and more scarce as time goes on. There's just a lot of people that are like snakes in the grass and they hide it, some better than others. But I think that you, the viewer, is smart enough to actually see past that. And I think that, the reward for those things will come in time as people realize how kind of like biased a lot of the other voices might be. Somebody says, Russ said on Facebook, I think I speak for most of your followers when I say you have a unique gift of delivering tough content, but with comedic genius. Thank you very much, Russ. I appreciate that. Thank you. Spiral Out says, you're the pineal in the land of smooth brains. Appreciate that. Somebody says, what do I think about Russell Brand? What I think about Russell Brand, I kind of alluded to in the video today, which is like, when you're a person that says and does the right thing, that speaks truth to power, when you're a person that's actually out there over the target, saying things that really matter, actually giving back to the social fabric of society, they come for you. And the easiest way to take a person down is to make accusations that are difficult to prove, but hyperbolic in their nature. And you've seen this happen to the likes of Julian Assange. It's happening right now to Tim Ballard, and it's happening to Russell Brand, where it's like, you can make an accusation of something that's 10 years old and say that this thing happened, and without any proof or without any evidence, you can use this to systematically destroy a person's career and public image instantly. And all the headlines are about these accusations, and it's like, if you look, I don't know the truth, just like you don't know the truth. But if you actually did some of these horrible things, you honestly think that a person's going to wait 10 years to come out and say it? And now one of the accusers said that they were 16 at the time. So from 16 to 26? So you're 21 years old. You're 25 years old. You can rent a hotel. There's nothing in society that you can't do. And you still don't say this. And then all of a sudden, mysteriously, now you start to say it. It's just so fake. It's just so fake. But the innocent until proven guilty no longer exists. And it's like, it doesn't matter if he did it or didn't do it, because the damage is already done. And what happened with the tube of you that I alluded to in my video today, how they literally are like, oh, well, you did something off the platform that harms our users, which is just the fakest, the most fake imaginable narrative I could put together. This represents like yet another, it's yet another indicator of how far they're willing to go to destroy anybody that says things that are real. It's mind-blowing. But people with literally one singular brain wrinkle at the back of their dome, thank you, Jiminy's Juniper, for the badge. Appreciate it. Literally a person with a single brain wrinkle at the back of their dome can see that it's like, these things are used to destroy a person's character, to ruin their public opinion, to demonetize them and set them back, because they're hard to prove and they're hard to disprove, and it makes for a sensational headline. It's like Julian Assange was tangled up in court battles for years over sexual allegations. And it's just like, I would wager that it's highly improbable that any of those things really happened. Then there's the case of people like Bill Cosby. Now, people can say whatever you want. You can say whatever you want about Bill Cosby. I'm not here to debate whether or not Bill Cosby is innocent or guilty. But what I will say is that it's highly probable that there are three stories. Their version of the truth, his version of the truth, and the actual truth is like a strange gray in between. So in the case of Bill Cosby, which is actually a cautionary tale, which a lot of people should actually even understand, in the 80s, right, when a lot of these things apparently happened, Bill Cosby was like the rock star of all rock stars, America's dad, one of the most famous television comedian actors in the entire world. Highly probable to think that a lot of women were throwing themselves at this guy. People were taking a lot of Quaaludes. Probably not much different than people smoke a joint now or do a line or whatever else is the case. Take Molly, whatever. And it's highly probable that a lot of these women that are accusing Bill Cosby, that accused Bill Cosby of certain things, maybe took Quaaludes through their own volition, wanted to. They can say that, oh, he convinced me or whatever it was. But I highly doubt in the vast majority of the situations, Bill Cosby dosed them with Quaaludes and had to like drug out some girl so that he could have his way with them. It's highly likely that Bill Cosby could have turned to the left or the right and found 10 clams that would have lined up to like clap America's dad. And I would bet the same goes for Russell Brand. Russell Brand is like rich, famous, dated like one of the biggest pop stars in the entire world. The guy's like 6'4", good looking dude, long hair, has a rock star type look. This guy was probably smashing all over the place. But like this guy needs to invite some girl over at 3:00 in the morning, and then she goes to his house and he just like chokes her with his hog. Like, I highly doubt it. It seems highly improbable that happened. It's like, you know what I mean? I don't know, dude. It's like, yeah, good-looking, rich, famous rock star guy has to like choke some chick out that willingly came to his house at 3 a.m. It's like I'm not trying to make fun of the situation, but it's just like highly improbabilidad that that occurred. And then she's just like, oh, let me wait 10 years. It's just like, give me a break. But anyways, back to Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby. Oh, Catherine on Facebook says, another douchebag defending rapists. Okay, Catherine. Like, are you good, Catherine? Yeah, I'm another dude. Get out of the chat. I don't even care. I'm not defending rape. Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm literally saying. Okay, back to the story. Again, I'm not saying that Russell Brand is innocent or not innocent. I'm not saying that Bill Cosby is innocent or not innocent. I'm just saying. Now, Bill Cosby, for those who don't know the story, Bill Cosby was in a civil trial. Okay, this is important information. Bill Cosby was in a civil trial where they asked him questions and they said, we are willing to grant you immunity from criminal prosecution based on your testimony in this civil trial. We will not use this testimony against you in a court of law to process you for criminal charges. You can look all this stuff up. So Bill Cosby agreed to these terms and testified against himself, even though he didn't need to, because they told him that they would not prosecute him based on this. I believe they even put it in writing that they would not prosecute him in a criminal trial based on his testimony. So he testified, from what I can understand, that yes, he did in fact take Quaaludes with these girls at different times, or one of them or some of them or whatever, which he did not have to admit. But he admitted that they did. Not that he cracked it into her drink while she was asleep, not that he dosed her with it, but just that they took them. This is my understanding of the story. And they said in writing, as far as I know, that they would give him immunity from processing in a criminal trial based on this testimony because he was testifying against himself. Then after the civil trial was over, they reneged on their agreement, and then they prosecuted him criminally for what he's testified. They used his own testimony against himself and then threw him in prison for many years. And then he was able to get out of prison not until many years later, based on the fact that they went against the prosecutors, aka the state, went against their own statement to put him in prison. it's like, yo, are we like, is everybody are we on the same page here? Like the establishment, the government, the state, the whatever, the county, the municipality, whatever you want to call it, literally said they wouldn't do it, from an official authority, got him to testify in an incriminating statement against himself, which he didn't have to do, but he was willing to do to set the record straight. And then they used that against him and prosecuted him and threw him in prison falsely for it. And it wasn't until years later, because of all the fuckery in the court system, that he was able to get out based on the fact that they lied to him. That's real stuff that happened in the real modern real society now. And like Bill Cosby is mad old. And what he did or didn't do doesn't matter, because all of his comedy shows, his supposed comeback, any of the other things that he could have done for his career, whether you want to believe him or not, are irreparably destroyed, whether it's true or not. So it's highly probable, and it's both probable and likely, that is exactly what happened with the likes of Julian Assange. That may or may not be what's happening with Tim Ballard. It remains to be seen. And it is highly probable that that's what they did with Donnie Baseball, with the case of E. Jean Carroll, which is, to me, the most fabricated falsity, fake lie I've ever heard in my entire life. This lady was literally flicking her bean on Twitter, like watching The Apprentice, just like literally hard flicking her bean, just being like, I wish I could see Donald. And then all this, and then like Donald J. Ballpark, like the richest, most eligible bachelor in New York City, goes into a Bergdorf Goodman's in the middle of the day in like a season that can't be determined by himself, and asks some like Randall J. Cunningham Brajol to like go into the changing room to like try on a brassiere or something, and then he just like goes in and starts like flicking her bean and grabbing her cans and like trying to make out with her. It's like, and then she got $5 million for that. $5 million. Like, what the fuck? Like, if you believe this, you dumb, dog. I'm just saying, you're literally dumb. I just mean, sorry, but you're dumb. Like, you need to like literally wrinkle up that cabeza, because you're low IQ, Bob. I don't know what to tell you, but like, you're dumb. I'm just saying. But it's just like, yeah. So then we all have to be like, oh, like maybe Russell Brand. It's like, yeah, maybe, but also I don't know. Like, I'm not a betting man, but like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm willing to bet it's bullshit, you know? I don't know, but maybe, but probably not, you know? Like the old saying, back as it were. And then you just have like some sad person hopped up on seed oils, like in the Facebook chat, like, you're the douchebag defending a rape. It's like, am I? Or am I just saying real things about things that I see? Like, you don't know either, Catherine. She's like, just another. It's like, why are you like donde está tu cabeza? You know what I mean? Like literally donde tu cabeza wrinkle. I don't know, but whatever. But that's the thing. Yeah, like, yeah, seed oil. Yeah, it's just got like seed oils coursing through. Somebody, speaking of seed oils, I made a video the other day where I was like referencing how people are like, I'm like sad people hopped up on like soy and seed oils like coursing through their veins, and someone in the comments was like, it's so hilarious why the right is so obsessed with seed oils. There's absolutely no proof that seed oils go. And I'm just like, that sounds like something that seed oils would write. And the guy was like, ugh! Like the seed oils clouded his vision. I'm just saying, like, look, you can just literally, like, I don't know, just use a couple of Ojos. I'll admit it. 2 years ago, I didn't know much about seed oils. I never really thought much about it. I'm like, how bad could it be? It's just a tortilla, you know? It's like a tortilla. It's taco night. What am I going to do? Not eat it? And then I started looking at it closer, and I'm like, holy fudge brownie, Jim. There's seed oils in every single thing on the planet. Like, I was at the grockery earlier looking for a tortilla. And it's like, why is there rapeseed oil in the tortilla? Like, just use corn, Bill. I don't know. It's like it's just like if there's a thing that's in every single thing ever, and people are just just like literally being administered like the long, hard pen 15 of existence. It's like, I don't know, maybe we should pay attention, you know? There's so many things that mess me up lately. I've seen this shit about salmon. You guys heard about the salmon? Farm raised salmon doesn't have the pink color, so they paint it pink. Like, what the fuck? Like, hello, guys. Did you know that salmon gets painted pink? Like, literal real salmon, like, barely even exists. There's someone out there that's like, he doesn't know how to say salmon. I'm just saying, they paint the salmon pink. Does anybody think that's all right? I'm just saying, it's kind of sketchy, bro. So it's like, why is there rapeseed oil? Why is there sunflower oil? Why is there palm oil? Why is everything on every aisle that's not the outside aisle literal poison? Why is the world garbage? Literally everything is poison pink salmon. And then I saw a freaking video the other day or yesterday, and it was like, here's how they inject water into steak. And I was like, say what, Bob? There was a fucking video of a piece of steak getting injected with water. And I'm just like, yo, these demons. These demons. I bought a flank steak at the freaking store yesterday. This flank steak was $32 for fucking flank steak. If anybody knows what flank steak is, I'm pretty sure it's like the fatty, garbagey flap at like the bottom of the cow that like scrapes the dirt. It's like a fucking $30. I was like, $30. Like, I asked the guy for flank steak and I wasn't paying attention. Like, I also got a fillet, and I was like looking at the fillet, and I'm like, let me get the fillet, and the flank steak, they tossed it in the bag. I put it in the cart because I wasn't even paying attention. I get up to the checkout, and this lady is like, that's $33 for this flank steak. I was like, $33? I could have bought a cow for that. $33. It's like the cheapest cut of the steak. So like I'm like marinating it in some, who even knows, but I hope I eat it for the next month. Cause like 30, like what, is everybody good? I was like looking at I like pulled up a mirror in the store and I'm like, are you good, bro? Like, what did you just buy? Like 30 clams? And then my friend the other day was like, she's like, I don't eat chicken because chicken is like it's like a sad animal or something like that. It was like chickens they're like killed when they're scared or something like that. And I was like, like it's all bad, guys. It's all bad. And then aside from the sad chickens, which seems totally reasonable, like they're in like a dark cage in like a cavern and they're crying and they're just like, gag, and they just like, I don't even know, but it's like cows are supposed to eat grass. Like there's no cow out in the world just like eating like corn off of like a stalk, you know? Like you can't go to like the Swiss, like the montagnes of Switzerland and find like some cow just eating like a corn stalk or whatever, a corn, whatever, pen 15, a corn penis. Like that is not a thing. Yet we just have these cows. There's just these cows here in America just eating all this corn. Just like, and like, not only that, corn, we made corn. We fabricated corn. Corn is like a fake vegetable. Does everybody know that? I just want to make sure everybody's on the same page. A cob of corn is literally a fake, like human engineered vegetable. People are in the chat. Somebody says a corn penis. Yeah. Corn is like a human engineered vegetable. And like these cows are just throating corn cobs. It's like, uh-oh. I went to a burger place. They asked me if they wanted the new substantial beef. It's fed seaweed, so it farts less. Good God. Yeah, like there's not like think about this. Are there any cows out there like in the like grazing in the fields in Switzerland just eating seaweed? No. No, they're not. Somebody says corn is a type of grass. No, it isn't. like I'm not a vegetable expert, but corn is not a type of fucking grass. I don't know who wrote that. Who wrote that? Is that Seed Oils in the chat writing that? Corn is a type of grass. If corn's a type of grass, then this is a type of milk. Like, what do you like? No offense, but no, it isn't. I'm not a vegetable expert, but I don't think corn is grass. I think corn is some engineered corn penis, like some engineered bio GMO like nature penis, and these cows are just eating it and throttling it and like full of sadness, and we're just eating these corn cows. Like, what is that? Give them grass, you psychos. like we want grass, demons. And then you get even further. Somebody says, okay, as a gardener, that is false. Corn is a seed/grain. All right. Yeah, it's a seed, it's a grain, but it's not grass. It's an earth penis. But anyways, it's like, it's dark out there. And it's like the cows are eating corn. And then what I didn't even know until like a couple years ago, you got these eggs, like these people are so deceptive. They're like, you're buying eggs. And I was like, an egg is an egg is an egg is an egg. And I was like, yeah, it's like a discarded chicken plasma. It's garbage. It's an ingredient, not a food. And I say that just to crank everybody's bag. But it's like, an egg, not all eggs are made the same, Bill. It's like these eggs, not only the egg, it's like from a sad chicken that's like pooping on like a grate, like in like a shadowy dark room. So then they have all these different types of egg harvesting of sorts. It's like imagine if the eggs said the truth. It's like sad chicken that never sees the sun, sad chicken that's pooping on itself, sad chicken that's like with its little claws in its poop square with other chickens, and they're just in a sad, shadowy, just like demon cage. It's no wonder everybody's sick. So then they have the chickens that are like cage free, but they're cage free like in just a bigger cage. And they're like not in a little cage, they're in a big cage, or they're like in some silo with 80,000 other chickens, and they're all just like sad and just like looking for the sun. And it's like, we're just eating these like stressed out, sad chickens. It's fucked up. And I will admit that I used to be like, it's like, what's the difference? You want to know the difference? I'm going to tell you the difference. This is a theory that I have, might be true, might not be true, but I think it's true. So do whatever you want with it. If you've ever purchased a fucking banana from a gas station or from like a 7-Eleven, it's the most disgusting banana you ever had in your life. I'll tell you why. Here's my theory. I think it's true. I'm not a vegetable expert. I'm not a fruit expert. I'm not a fruitologist. I'm not a vegetologist. But I think that these vegetables, that these vegetes, that these mysterious bananas, which probably came from like a dumpster somewhere in Malaria or whatever, or wherever it came from, Peru. I think that the banana breathes. I think that the skin of the banana breathes, which probably is scientifically true, even though I'm not a fruitologist. So it's like breathing in all of this like scrumbly, bumbly, like seed oil laden, like hot 7-Eleven breath. And you're just like, and you're like getting, you know what I mean? So I think that the bananas at the gas station and the bananas at like a 7-Elevens of sorts are just like poisoned with like seed oil, like shedding offshoot, hot, like weird breath. You know what I mean? That people are coming in and like buying lotto tickets and like bumblebee tunas are like, let me get a, like, I feel like that's what they are. And that's why the bananas at the gas station taste like shit. Because they're breathing. So if so facto tickle my bag, I'm just saying, these are living creatures. These are living, literal living devices that we're all eating. Like I just want to encourage everybody out there to like purchase the eggs that were like in the sun, you know, purchase the eggs from the chickens that were in the sun. If you're going to eat like discarded chicken plasma, like not a baby chicken balls, like get the ones that like go in the sun and stop eating this painted salmon. Like, what is that? And then they have like the farm raised fish. I don't trust that at all. And here's the other thing. When you're at the grockery on your own and you're purchasing your wares, I made the mistake the other day of I went to Publix, and like, if you asked me a year ago, I'd have been like, Publix, it's fine. It's like a nice crockery store, whatever. I was in the Publix and I'm like, every single tortilla is like is like a discus of seed oil. And like you toss it down your gullet and you like got the squirts for a couple of days. Not that happened to me. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. That's up for you to determine. But it's like everything is just like a grapeseed oil, like sad chicken in a shadowy cage, like sad boy discus. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you need to go to Whole Foods, even though half of that is seed oil. The Whole Foods hot bar is like a seed oil paradise. They're like healthy chicken, seed oil. It's like everything's bad. I need to start a fucking farm. It's dark out there, guys. The salmon's painted. The chickens are sad. They live in a shadowy cave with no sun. Every tortilla is like a seed oil discus of death. Like every single thing is bad. The cow flap is $50 a pound. I don't even know what's going on anymore. I'm just saying all I'm saying is, if you get nothing from this stream, just know that the bonanzas at 7-Eleven are breathing hot bumblebee breath and offshoot like shedding breath, and they're bad. And don't eat them. Because I've tried. I was like, oh, you know, like let me have I'm not a fruitologist, but let me have this bonanza, and it just tasted like coffee breath sadness and like scratch off tickets. You know, it's weird. So don't take it from me. But I was thinking about this the other day, and this is part of the greater picture. This is maybe like a little lesson. When I was building websites and stuff, I would wake up and I would have so many tasks that I would put off working on. I would put off like going to the gym or going outside or whatever. I would just like hop out of bed and get to work. And I would jump onto the work so fast that it was a couple hours before I had a minute to like take a breath, and then I would have to like get lunch, and then I would chill out for an hour and then go to the gym. So it was like 4 or 5 hours before I went to the gym. And what I realized is that, so then I stopped building websites and I started making videos and stuff. And I would wake up and I'd be like, I got to put out a video for the day. I want to make a video, whatever, answer my emails, go through all my stuff. And I realized that I was prioritizing the tasks over the going to the gym at the time that I wanted, or going outside or whatever else. So I made a decision a while into it, after like a few months, where I was like, no, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to go directly to the gym. And what I started doing on the way to the gym is I would make a video at the stoplights on the way to the gym. And I was like, instead of sitting at home and thinking about it for a long time, I'll make a video on the way to the gym. And if I make one by the time I get there, great. If I don't, then whatever. So it was like a ticking time bomb of like how quickly I had to output the video. And I was like, if I don't, then I'm at the gym and then I get to the video later. And what I realized after doing this was that the videos that I made in the car that were under the gun, under pressure, that I had to make as a result of prioritizing going to the gym over jumping into the work that was going to get done anyhow, is that the videos actually did better than the ones that I made when I sat at home and like spent all this time thinking about it. It was like the movement and the forcing and the prioritizing the health decision over whatever else actually made for a higher quality product that I didn't even realize. So lately, what I've been thinking about, what I realized just the other day, is I was like, I live in Florida, I live near the ocean, and I only go to the ocean on the weekends. The ocean right now is the best of all year. The sun is nice and warm. The water is nice and warm. So I was like, I should be going to the beach every day. Like, it's stupid that I don't do that because I'm prioritizing this work when I could just get to it later. So anyways, long story short, I decided I'm going to go to the beach every day. And today, and like I'm starting to get further into it, but today it's like the most memorable part of the entire day today was when I was at the beach watching the pelicans fishing, like grabbing fish out of the water. And it's like, it's almost the only thing that I remember about today. And it's like, I still went to the gym. I still did all the work. I still did all the things, but I remember this beautiful beach and the pelicans and all that. So anyways, the point is that if we prioritize the thing that actually matters, it actually enhances and improves the quality of all the other things. And I think that actually makes sense as it relates to like this food as well. So it's like when I went to Publix the other day and bought this like seed oil tortilla discus when Whole Foods was closed, I like regretted going there. And I just like regretted going there and buying this like Garbaggio discus. So tonight I went and I got a different tortilla discus, and it only has like corn in it, you know, like nature penis, you know? So anyways, long story. I know I tickled your grundle and slid one into your brown eye there, but the message is that if we prioritize the thing that matters and actually go for the quality of time, quality of food or whatever, it actually benefits all of the other things down the line. So this is what I've been realizing lately. And I got to give credit where credit is due to some people close to me that have helped me understand this true reality, not only about the food, but about the time. So that's something to remember. Lana says, my favorite thing is early morning gym time. I love getting up at 4:45 a.m. Let's not get crazy. 4:45? Holy jambalaya. I don't know about that. I mean, that seems nice. I like that, but I don't know about all that. I can't be doing that. I'm just like drinking coffee at 10:30 like a menace. Somebody says, I know you aren't a morning person, but if you can try to get to the beach for sunrise, it's the best way to start the day. Let's not get crazy. I don't know about that. Sunrise, like let's not get zoinked out. I don't know about all that. I'm going to work on it, maybe, but probably not. But I'll certainly consider it. I did set an alarm today, and the alarm went off, and I was like, not today, demon. And I went back to sleep. But I tried, you know. It was like a 7-Eleven banana try. It's like it tasted like coffee breath and shedding, but I went for it, you know. I could have bought a donut. Could have bought a dungle. Carol says, I'll wake up at 4:45 for nature penis only. That's good to know. Yeah, don't wake up early for nature penis. The corn cob will be there at noon. My first goal is to get up in time not to rush the kid to school. That's fair. Somebody says sleep is important. Sleep is important. I definitely get a couple of sleeps in. I love how TikSnap has just like throttled my whole account. There's 3 people watching on TikTok. Lots of laughs. Like I've literally seen a guy go, glizzy, glizzy. And he has like 50,000 people watching. It's like a allegedly human man. Seed oil's coursing through his veins, like soy, like coursing through his brain wrinkles. And he's like, glizzy, so good. Glizzy, so tasty. And there's 5,000 people watching him on TikTok. And I'm out here just like saying real things about real stuff, talking about nature penis. And TikTok's like, this is not highbrow enough for us here at TikTok. Sorry. Next time, try talking about glizzies and how you throat them. Glizzy so good. Choke down a fat glizzy. Oh. Like, are you good? It's so embarrassing. Like, it's so embarrassing. TikTok is super weird. It's so embarrassing watching people do that. It's like, are you good? If you said it like an NPC, you'd be kosher. Yeah, I'd be good. Hey, I got a couple of likes on TikTok, probably because I said glizzy so tasty, glizzy so good. Throat a glizzy. Give me some. Megan goes, red hot MAGA, just hot sticky MAGA on my glizzy. Sandy goes, what's a glizzy? You're going to have to give that a gaggle. Just Google Google glizzy goblin. Google throat goat. Sorry, my deepest apologies. We really got off the rails here. Thanks, Don Maureen, for the badge. Appreciate it. While I have your attention, I do want to give a special shout out to the sponsor of the channel. Again, thank you so much to Anton's Land of Biltong. For anybody that's seen me talk about Anton's Land of Biltong before, you go to landofbiltong.com, LANDOFBILTONG, landofbiltong.com, and try out Anton's Land of Biltong. It's preservative, soy, MSG, seed oil free, 100% beef, cured South African biltong. It's basically like soft beef jerky. They sponsored the channel, and their stuff is absolute fire. Check out landofbiltong.com. Use code SAUCE for free shipping. And thanks to Anton's Land of Biltong for sponsoring the channel. Stuff is absolute fire. I take it to the gym. I take it to the beach. It is bomb. It's better than beef jerky, in my humble opinion. It's definitely no corn. It's definitely no corn demon, corn penis, nature penis type garbage. 100% beef, no preservatives. Stuff is fire. Landofbiltong.com. Use code SAUCE for free shipping and check it out. Stuff's fire. A lot of people have purchased some from the channel, and I appreciate that. And thanks to Land of Biltong. Thanks to Anton. Somebody said you're playing 3D chess while TikTok is playing checkers. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know what's going on TikTok. There's 2 people watching on TikTok right now. One of them's named User1. It's like, what is that? Is that like Hunter Basement, you know? I don't know. Glizzy so good. User1. Glizzy so tasty. Glizzy so good. I bet if I just said Glizzy, Glizzy, I'm the Glizzy Goblin. Glizzy Goblin. I'm throating Earth Penis. I bet it would get 5,000 likes immediately. Lana said I have to order more. I love it about the biltong. That's what's up. Somebody says Glizzy was originally a Glock and somehow it became a hot dog. There's no such thing as a hot dog. It's just Glizzy. It's just Glizzy's the Glizzy Goblin. I'll use it in a sentence. Kamala Harris is a Glizzy Goblin. Somebody says I have 87. Megan says there's 87 Elon Musks following me on TikTok. Yep. You need to pop some porn with a flat iron. I don't know what that means. Seriously, WTF is a glizzy? It's a hot dog. It's a glizzy. It's a hot dog. It's a diddler. Here in the game, we call them glizzler. We call them diddlers. Out here in the streets, we call them diddlers. Diddler so tasty. Glizzy so good. Glizzy Goblin. Glizzy Goblin. I'm the Glizzy Goblin. Thanks for the glizzy. Ooh, roses. Ooh, TikTok. Glizzy. I don't know. Maybe TikTok doesn't like me because I don't look at the camera. They have some AIs now that'll make your eyes look at the lens. So maybe that will be the case. I don't really know. I tend to look at Instagram. This is my Instagram phone here. This is my TikTok phone here. This is my Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch right there. So there's a lot of things going on in front here, but I tend to look at Instagram because that's just kind of like where home base is at. But the people on Facebook and stuff don't seem to care. And YouTube, I mean, we're all here together. I still see them. I'm just not looking at that camera lens. What's up, Bana? Yay. Kamala Harris is a Glizzy Goblin in a sentence. With that being said, somebody mentioned earlier on the stream, they're like, is that a mostly peaceful protest behind you? I thought that was pretty funny. Does anybody have a question? Does anybody have something that I haven't mentioned yet that they might want to have their bag cranked? I'm happy to engage, interact, answer a couple questions, or talk about some other things that people want to bring up before I dip. I've been on an hour and 15. Again, thanks to the people that bought the badges. I really appreciate that. Thanks Dawn Marine, Anne Marie X07, Jiminy's Juniper, One Fit Carol, and Mama Marvel 15 for the badges on Instagram. I really very much appreciate that, and thanks to all of you that are continuing to watch. I appreciate it. Somebody says, "Where is Fetterbean?" He's probably a lifeless bag of meat in the Capitol wearing Ross Dress for Less. He looks like he just rolled out of the gas station, not with a breathable 7-Eleven's banana, but with like a pack of like soggy Noops and like a $1 scratch off. And he's like, yeah. It's like, this guy's a senator for the next 5 years. Like, we're so effed. Diane Feinberg is like a melted bag of rice. She's basically deceased. She doesn't even know what planet she's on. This lady's representing it. She's on the AI. She's on the committee that regulates AI. Diane Feinstein. I would rather be governed by a 7-Eleven breathable banana than Diane Feinstein. I honestly feel like one of the 7-Eleven bananas would do a better job than Diane Feinstein. She's like a melt. She looks like if you melted Mitch McConnell in the microwave for an extra minute. She's like Mitch McGarble, all of them. They're all demons. They're all literal melted demons. Mitch McConnell is a melted demon. I saw like an article or a post yesterday that's like, it's like Chuck Grassley's 90, but he runs every day. No, he fucking doesn't. There's no way in a million years that you could make me believe that Chuck Grassley runs every day. And if he does, all the power to him. I hope he does. Fucking retire, dude. You're ancient. You're a literal fossil. Retire. I don't care if you're R or a D. You're an old bag of garbage. Leave. No one likes you. I don't care what party you're with. Melted Turtle McGarble, hit the bricks, jabroni. Like, these people are built like a dandelion spore. I could grab a 7-Eleven's breathable, like non-earth penis, like soggy, like shedding banana. And I could take a bite into it and it would be disgusting. And I would throw it over my shoulder. And if it hit Mitch McConnell, he would die. He'd be like, no, go. It's just like, all it would take is like one shedding 7-Eleven's like hot coffee breath banana to like assassin, to like end the life of like McGarble, Diane Feinstein, John Fetterbeef. It's like all of these beefs, it's like, what's wrong with you? It's so sad, and then we're gonna have two octogenarian demons like running for. We're bad. Our country is a 7-Eleven banana, is what it is. So Cindy may have dropped the hottest comment of the night on Facebook. She says Fetterbeef is a gas station glizzy. That's correct, because contrary to popular belief, glizzies breathe as well. And like the shedding glizzies that are like sadly rolling for 1,000 years in 7-Elevens, that's Fetterbeef. Fetterbeef is as qualified to be in the Senate as a gas station glizzler from 7-Elevens. Somebody in the chat on TickSnap goes, "Hi, what's the best solar generator around $1,000?" Bro, what? Excuse me. Jesse, are you good? Like, the profile photo is like a supermodel, and they're like, "What do you think's the best solar generator?" I don't know. It's like Sangeeth in Bangalore. He's like, "What is the best?" His profile photo is just like some chick from OnlyClams, and he's like, "What do you think is the best solar generator?" I don't know, dude. What the hell kind of question? Like, this is what the bots are doing now. This is what the AIs are doing. What's the best generator? She said, or Jesse responded. She goes, "I'm sorry, Jesse, you're throwing me for a loop here, Jim." It's like a hot girl or something, and she's like, "What's the generator?" I'm sorry. It's like, Are you sorry? Who is that? Who are you, Jesse? I really want to know. Whom? There's like -3 people on TikTok, and she's like, "What? Where can I get a generator?" That's like being like, "What's the best Thai food near me?" It's like, what? I don't know. It's like, where are you? Oklahoma. It's like, well, what the fuck? Like, she goes, "Oh gosh, just a normal girl." That sounds like something that somebody in Bangladesh would say. Jesse, I'm not sold. Give us a better fact. Give us a better factoid about yourself. She's like, send Bob's and Virgin. I love you. Send Bob's and Virgin. It probably is a real person, and she's just like, ah. But seriously though, Jesse, how are you going to ask where the best solar generator? Like, what is this? Is this solar generator chat? I'm like in here talking about like throating glizzy goblins at the 7-Eleven, and you're like, what do you guys think is the best electric vehicle under 2000? It's like, I don't know. Ask literally anyone but me. Like, ask literally any person. Send Bob's and Virgin. Send Bob's. I love you. I am just a general girl. All right, now I feel really bad. She goes, "Oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. You mentioned to ask any questions, and I've been needing to buy one." All right, guys. My deepest apologies. She actually got me there. I did actually ask that. I thought it was like a bot question. I thought it was like, what's the best place to buy a 2x4, in Oklahoma City? It's like, I don't know. No, all right, guys. Jesse is a real person. Just so anybody knows, Jesse is a real human being. All right, Jesse, I'm very sorry that I just completely zapped you on the stream and said you were a bot from Bangladesh. She like asked like a legitimate question she really wanted to know. I guess in theory it does make sense, like a solar generator. We're talking about stuff. I did ask her a question. She's like, sorry. Jesse, I'm sorry. Jesse, I will give you a free mug from the Bobby Sauce store for just like completely zapping you. I was like, she's using a fake profile photo. Sorry, this is a comedy show. She like left and banned me already. She's like, nope. She's like, I'll go find my solar panel from someone else. This guy's the glizzy goblin. Somebody says, do you think they will impeach Oatmeal Brain? Who cares? Who cares? It doesn't matter. That's what I'm trying to say. It's just like we have a shedded on banana in the Oval Office, and they're like, oh, we're going to impeach. Who cares if they impeach him? It doesn't even matter. It's not even nothing is going to happen as a result. I'm glad that they're doing it. I'm glad that they're doing literally anything, but nothing's going to happen. Oh, they impeach him. They could impeach him fucking thrice. It wouldn't even matter. He's just like, it's like the guy's been committing crimes for a half a decade, and no one cares. It's like just millions of people getting paid to like his grandchildren and stuff from like shell companies overseas, and they're like, we're going to impeach him. It's like, I'd rather you give him like a soggy cold glizzy and make him throat it Kamala style on TV. I would rather that than an impeachment. Who even cares? I'm glad they're literally attempting to pretend to do something, but I don't know, man. Somebody says, LOL, I mean you are funny, but can we really call this a comedy show? Or is it comedy because U.S. politics are a clown show? I don't know. I'm just a human person yelling into his phone about nature penis. This is what I do. I don't know. Is this a comedy show? Yeah, I guess. I've seen a couple people laugh in the comments. I said that cobs of corn were nature penis. I don't know. I think that's pretty funny. I said that breathable bananas from 7-Eleven are like coffee breath shedded on and like scratch off ticket smells. And that there's sad chickens in a sunless cavern, just like spitting out sad discarded plasma balls, and people are eating them. Is it funny? I don't know. Is it a comedy show? I guess. I'm certainly attempting for it to be funny. Clara says, I'm using a fake profile. Can I have a free mug? Maybe. Somebody says, but not like Chris Farley. Yeah, I mean it's a different format, you know. Like Chris Farley wasn't talking into his device with headphones on about politics. You know, he was just like, it's a different type of funny. It's like you're not as funny as a magician. It's a different environment. Clara says, "Can I have a free mug?" You can have free shipping on a mug. I'll give you free shipping for a mug. Email me, woke@bobbysauce.com, and I'll give you free shipping for a mug. This is comedy. I'm crying. Yeah, great. That's a good testimony. Is this funny? It's like, I don't know. I don't know. Clara says, soggy cold glizzy, and then Cindy goes, Clara needs a glizzy. Sandy Bobandy says, have you ever met Joe Rogan? Thoughts on his podcast? I have not met Joe Rogan. I think that Dan said scroll up. I asked a question. Just say the question again. I think that it's probably one of the most influential long-form content distribution platforms in the modern world. I think that during the Clam Dem, Joe Rogan was the most influential person on the planet. I think when he put Peter McCullough and Dr. Malone on his platform, it exposed the entire world to them. And many of us would credit Joey Roggs with exposing these people to us. And I think that Rogan is I think that he's a high quality individual that is that is curious and really great at what he does. So yeah, I think it's great. I mean, I don't listen to every episode. I think a lot of it is good. I tend to like the ones that are specifically focused on a topic more so than just the person. I do like the ones that he has with other comedians. I think those are funny. Like I think his ones with Theo Von are funny. So I think it's A1. LaDonna says, I haven't been in Robbie's live since the OG merch brainstorms of 2020. I would be in here like drinking wine and sending money. That's what's up. Yeah, those were festive times. My, how things have changed. Somebody said, do you think Gavin will run? And if he has a chance, I may leave the country if this happens. You don't have to leave the country. All you have to do is move to Florida, the great free state of Florida. If Gavin Newsom runs for president, yeah, we're in for a world of hurt. The guy's a demon. Yo, look at that. Mr. 805 on Instagram says this is their first live. Could you imagine this being your first live in here? There's so many people that are in the chat and stuff on both platforms that I've seen in here 1,000 times. So imagine like coming in here, just raw dogging your first live and this being the subject matter. I accused like this nice woman on TikTok of being like a Bangladeshi like chat bot, and she's like my family lives in Florida. That was not the best part, Jesse. My deepest apologies for that. Really did think you were a fake chat bot, AI, Chat GPT. Yeah, I think Gavin Newsom is a serpent demon, and I think that people are just stupid enough to vote for him because they're dumb. And I think that it's just emblematic of how dumb everybody is. Everybody's just like literally completely clueless. It's like, yeah, let's vote for a guy for president that like ruined the state he was running. That's like a literal demon serpent from the underworld. That's like Nancy Pelosi's demon serpent spawn, like related to Pelosi. She's got a couple bolt-on bags and is a serpent from under a hellish cave. Like she literally is a merchant of the darkness underworld, and she's got $100 million and like 10 grandkids, and like could easily just like retire at home and watch her husband get hammered in the face by a guy that he's not banging while he like carries a cocktail for no reason in the middle of the night during a home invasion. They're like, "What's up?" And he's like, "Just hanging around," just like that Beetlejuice meme. He's like, "Me? Just hanging around." It's like, that's literally what the video was like. Let's all just forget about that. He's like literally throating beverages and like banging the like weirdo nudist that, like, I honestly, like, if I had to guess, he was like texting that guy and he's like, "Come over here and I'll toss you some throat." And he's just like, he's like, "Come in the back window." Nance is away. And like, there's 1,000 people watching his house. It's like 24/7 security. And this guy's just like hammer smashing the window. And then he comes inside and like pours himself a cocktail and like unbuttons his shirt like he's Tom Cruise in Risky Business. He like slides across the floor and he's like, "What's up, guys? What's up, fellas?" The cops are like, "Are you good, bro?" He's just like, Like, I'm not trying to make light of it, but that shit was suspect. It's just like, first of all, suspect as hell. Second of all, like, I'm not a betting man, but I'd throw 10 on he was about to take it up the poop chute. Just saying. But whatever. TikTok just goes, "You've gone live for 90 minutes. Don't forget to take a break." You don't tell me what to do, TikTok. It's like, don't forget to take a break. That's what you'd want me to do. Who wrote that? Seed Oils? Who wrote that comment? TikTok's like, "Don't forget to get off the platform." Like, are you good, bro? TikTok. This is why we can't have nice things. Do you tell the glizzy goblins to get off? They're like, "You've been an NPC for too long. Take a break. Gobble glizzy, gobble glizzy." Somebody said, "Have you been covering Maui and the crime that was committed there?" I mean, I made a video that went extremely viral about them not doing the sirens. I don't live in Maui, and there's a lot of misinformation out there, so I don't know all of the details. Somebody says, "Move my elbow." What the hell does that mean? Move my elbow. I don't know what that means. Anyways, I forget what I was talking about. Somebody's like, "Move your right thumb." It's like, what? I forget what I was talking about. Oh yeah, but Maui. Yeah, I don't really know what's going on with Maui. To me, it's extremely suspect. I don't think it was a targeted energy weapon with blue roofs. I think that was people just trying to get people off the scent. I think that there's a lot of truth that has completely just been like tickled. And I think there's a lot of fakeness there. And the fact that they like turned off the water and blocked the roads and didn't sound the alarms and all that. It's like one of the things that people said about those alarms, there's just like, they didn't sound the alarms because the alarms are for tsunamis. And if people heard the alarms at 6 a.m., they would have gotten up and ran into the fire. It's like, bro, how stupid do you think these people are? They're just going to just run into a fire because the fucking alarm went off? No, they're going to wake up and be like, "What the hell's that?" Then they look at their push notification and it's like, "There's a fire." What are people, stupid? So instead they just don't sound them? It's like, "Hi, I have the most advanced alarm warning system in the entire planet in this one city." And they're just like, "Nah." And then people are like, "Those are not for fires." You go on their website and it's literally like for wildfires and other things. And people are like, as they're like throttling like a seed oil beverage, like a seed oil discus. They're like folding up their tortilla and tossing it down their throat hole. They're like dicing up glizzies to throw into their seed oil disc and just shoving them in their mouth. They're like, "The alarms are not for fires." It's like, it says it on the website, you Jabron James. Read it yourself. It's on page 1. You know what I mean? If you get it, you get it. Whatever. If you know, you know. Somebody said, oh, Robin said, "Remember when you went on an airplane and a guy was up in your space and you told him and he told you to move your elbow, or I told him to move my elbow?" That's a throwback story, Robin. That's actually a throwback story. That's a good story. Can we revisit the part of the stream where I accused Jessie of not being a real person? And I had to shed the deepest of apologies to her for saying that she was like a Bangladeshi chatbot. Not my best, not my best moment here in the stream, but whatever. You win some, you lose some. Every once in a while, you pluck a bonanza from the gas station. It tastes like coffee breath. Somebody says Maui was either a complete incompetence of the local government or was set up to be a land grab. It was probably both of those things. It was most likely both. It could be those two things at once. It's lots of demonry. And then you have like people like Oprah like somersaults out of a bush made of money, and she's like, donate. It's like, first of all, shut up, Oprah. And then she's like, why are people so angry at me? It's like, I don't know, Oprah, maybe because you've platformed a bunch of demons. And she had like some spiritual advisor that ended up being like a kid diddler or something that like perpetrated all this evil. It's like, I don't know, Oprah, but you also gave us Obama. So maybe just like be rich and stop. I don't know. But whatever. People are like, poor Oprah. Oprah's like $100 billion. Cindy said, people on Facebook and YouTube are like talking about Jesse, who's on TikTok or probably isn't even there anymore. They're like, Jesse, are you good? And then Cindy goes, Jesse popped out for a glizzy. Jesse's just like at 7-Elev's grabbing a Glizzler. She's like, this freaking idiot said that I asked him a legitimate question after he asked me to ask questions. And then he like accused me of being a chat GPT. She says, I'm here. I'm great. Yo, this is a real person. I feel really bad now. Somebody said, did anyone do anything to ensure the Sins won't cheat against the next selection? No, nobody did anything except for Ron DeSantis. But let's not talk about it because he's a globalist rhino, upside down, not cool. Nobody wants to have a drink with him. Rhino, shill, globalist, China, puppeteer. Florida didn't even do good. Florida's the worst. Nobody likes Florida. Nobody would move there except for me and my entire family. Nobody would move there. Nobody likes Florida. It's only good because of the weather. No one likes it except for me and my entire family. We moved our entire family here, but nobody likes Florida. It's only because of the weather. Ron DeSantis is a globalist. Even though he did more for election integrity than any other governor and any other politician in the entire country, DeSantis, but he's not fun. Nobody wants to have a beer with him. He's a loser. He's a loser. He's a meatball. Nobody likes him. He's dropping in the polls. Dropping like a rock. Nobody likes him. Oh. Nobody likes him. He's a globalist. Which reminds me, Ken Griffin, who a lot of people were like, Ken Griffin supports DeSantis. He's a globalist. Well, Ken Griffin, a major Republican donor, says he is sitting on the sidelines of the GOP presidential primary and not supporting Governor DeSantis that he backed in 2022. He says Griffin is not impressed from what he's seeing from the alternatives to frontrunner Donald J. Ballpark and has yet to decide who he plans to help. So everybody that says DeSantis is bought and paid for by Ken Griffin, well, Ken Griffin isn't supporting him. So is that true now? They're like, he's a meatball. And then they're just like, don't worry, guys. He lost the last selection, but he's going to win this one because he thinks it. And it's like, meanwhile, the only governor that's done anything is DeSantis. But he's a puppet of China, and he's a globalist, World Garbonomic Forum. He's a meatball. Nobody likes him. And it's like, yeah, that's why Florida's just like the most thriving state in the union. But whatever, guys. Who cares about all the election integrity, all the stuff he did with school choice? Who cares about banning Jain from purchasing land here? Who cares about putting laws on the books about not taking the juice, forcing you to take the juice, businesses forcing you to take the juice, diapers, forced diapers, getting fired for the juice or non-taking the juice? Who cares about all that? Who cares about all the real things that he actually did? He's a rhino. Everybody's just like glazed with like a hot load of MAGA on their belly button, and they're like, DeSantis, he's done so much good stuff, but that's because he's a rhino. It's like, okay, guys. Like they literally asked Ball Game, they're just like, can a man become a woman? And he's like, like I say, birth. They got to give birth. They cannot give birth. It's like, here's how you would have answered that question. No. You just go, no. It goes like this. No. That's what you say. You just go, no. No, you cannot. That's it. But if DeSantis was to say something like that, they'd be like, he'll never get my vote. So much hot MAGA on my back. Is everybody good? Somebody says, I wish he could have stopped William Gates from buying $14,000 farmland here. Yeah. Nice. A person in the chat on YouTube paid $50 for a cup of rice and a photo of Kamala Krusty, personally drawn by me. They said, I paid $50, but it's worth $5,000 now. That is true. Lana sent me a glizzy on TikTok, which means that I'm about to go nuclear there. Somebody says, I will say Big Ron has the action and policy, but he was very underwhelming at the debate. Yeah, I mean, are we voting for a debate performance? Or are we voting for policies, actions, effectiveness, and the person who's best fit to govern based on their record? Or are we voting for a debate performance? I don't know. I guess a debate performance. I don't want to have a beer with him. Hot MAGA. Cindy on Facebook says, Ron is 100% pure beef glizzy with no seed oils. I don't understand the right's obsession with seed oils. They're probably fine. Says like a seed oil. Says like a literal seed oil person. Lauren said, thoughts on Russell Brand. I already answered that earlier. I did like 20 minutes on Russell Brand, so I'm not going to go back and do that again. But you can watch the playback. It'll be on everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, all the places. Russ on Facebook said, how do you think we go about setting term limits? No, the only way we could set term limits would be to elect people to Congress that are actually willing to say that that's what they will do and then hold them accountable to it. But nobody wants to hold anybody accountable to anything. And until the House and the Senate is run by a party that would actually consider that, there will be no term limits. One person has talked about term limits that's running for president, and that's Ron DeSantis. He's talked about term limits. Has everybody else? I don't know. Nobody cares. Nobody cares what Donnie does. They're just like, mega 2020. It's like they don't even care. They're just like waiting for him to like come back and enact this supposed retribution. It's like they don't even care about the country, really. They're just like, he'll do it. It's like, okay. People, how about losing? Somebody said, how about losing an F-35? Must be talking about that plane. I don't know. Somebody said, what about Donnie Ballgame and Vivek? I think there's been a lot of interviews with Vivek where he's like kind of flip-flopped on some of the stuff that he said. I think he's good for the race. I think he's a good person, probably. I don't know that I wouldn't vote for him this time, but he certainly is saying the right things. Whether or not he would come through with those things or it goes against what he said in the past, I don't know. It certainly seems like that's the case. Have you watched The Greatest Show on Earth on Rumble? No, I have not. I don't know what that is. Uh, um, Somebody on TikTok said, how about that new Boosty? Yeah, it's great. It's basically like taking seed oils and poisoning it and then shooting it into your dirt star and just going, I hope I'm better now. I hope this makes the weather more gooder. Yeah, we're not going to get any term limits. We're not going to get anything. They're not going to do shit. It's like nobody holds anybody accounted for. Somebody said, nobody holds our leaders accountable. No one cares about anything. Everybody just likes to fake. Sandy Bobandy says, what are your thoughts on the aliens discovered in Mexico? I think they're fake. I think they're paper mache. I think it's a psyop, and I think they're not real. And the reason why, I'll tell you why I think it's not real. There's a show on the History Channel called Ancient Aliens. And it talks all about ancient astronaut theory and all of the ancient astronaut theorists that talk about kind of like the hidden messages of the past and, different landmarks and monuments that are like inconceivable by like modern technology. Like we still don't know how they created these certain artifacts and stuff. Like, for example, I saw one the other day where it was talking about a sunken ship off the coast of Italy that had not been touched for, I want to say it said 2,600 years. It had sat under the sea 2,600 years, and they went down to this pirate ship or whatever, this ship, sunken ship, and they found. I'm not sure if it's the same ship. This might be two separate ships, but one of the ships, they found this material that was like a combination of like, you have to look it up, but it was like cobalt and like nickel or something combined into this like thing. And the technology to make something out of these two materials did not exist at the time when this ship was sailing. Yet here is an example of it existing hundreds of years before anybody discovered how to do this. So it's like the timeline's all off. Then there's other things like there's another thing I saw in Ancient Aliens where it talks about ancient artifacts. And one of the ancient artifacts is this little flyer. And it's like a tiny gold glider flyer that is perfectly aerodynamic so that it flies, that was found in a tomb of like an Egyptian like a pharaoh. It was found like in a pharaoh's tomb. It's like a little tiny golden trinket that was perfectly aerodynamic. So when they expanded the size of this little trinket to like life size, it flew perfectly. And it's like aerodynamics were not understood at this time. These are like hunter-gatherer types, like people etching messages into rocks, yet they knew how to make a completely dynamic airplane glider like thousands of years before the discovery of flight. And they just knew how to do it. And like, not only did they do it, but they made a perfect size replica of it out of fucking gold and put it in this guy's tomb. It's out there for thousands of years. And it's like, yeah, let's just pretend like none of this stuff happened or whatever. Let's also forget how they also, I'll get to the point about the aliens. Let's also forget how geologists have detected that there's water aging evident on the Sphinx in the deserts in Egypt. So the Great Sphinx, which has been in the Egyptian desert for however many thousands upon thousands of years, shows evidence of it once having water-related damage, water-related erosion to it, meaning that there was a water source, a natural water source near the Sphinx in the desert in Egypt, which suggests that the pyramids and all of that stuff was probably created at a time when there was water right there, which is like all ridiculously further back than anybody thinks. Then there's also different examples of like pyramids and stuff where they've found liquid mercury. There was like a pyramid, I think it was in Mexico, or somewhere in the Central America region, where they found liquid mercury in a pyramid. And the scientific process necessary to make liquid mercury, and why you would have a vat of liquid mercury, and how you would even go about A, creating liquid mercury, B, why you would need it, and why there would be this vat of liquid mercury in a freaking pyramid makes absolutely no sense, and existed in this pyramid that is like thousands of years old. And like people are going to lead us to believe that these people were just like carrying rocks up a mountain, like using sticks and ropes. Like, are you guys dumb? They're just like making liquid mercury. I live in 2023. I have a cell phone that's more capable than the rocket ship that took men to the moon allegedly on Apollo 13. I have it in my pocket. I couldn't tell you how to make liquid mercury if I asked 1,000 people in a row. Yet, like, they just have liquid mercury while they're building pyramids with 50-ton blocks that are perfectly aligned with the stars. And people are like, yeah, hunter-gatherer. It's like, no, dude. There was obviously, like, if you want to know my real theory, my theory is that there have been multiple advanced civilizations on Earth. One, probably like maybe 4 or 5, maybe 10 times, maybe an unlimited amount of times. I would wager that a lot of the technology was destroyed in things like the Ice Age, things like the Great Flood, etc. I think that the land masses on Earth have likely shifted over time because the North Pole has shifted. There's some facts to suggest that the North Pole has actually moved locations. So I would say that advanced societies have existed on Earth way longer than we think. I do believe that extraterrestrial life, intelligent life, has visited the Earth in the past, perhaps multiple times, many times, and probably is still here now, hiding amongst us, using technology to either shapeshift and or hide in plain sight. I believe that it's highly probable that they would live in unreachable mountains, inside mountain ranges that are traditionally untouched, near a lot of the earth chakras, like at Mount Shasta, California, to name one. And most of them probably live under the sea. All the things that you would need to survive as a living life form can be found under the sea, from food to fuel to oxygen to seaweed, and anything you could ever possibly need you could find at the bottom of the sea. So I would wager that there's probably intelligent life under the sea on Earth right now. I think a lot of the stuff that they've told us is to intentionally hide us from our true capacity and what the real history of the world is, to keep us like enslaved. But to get to the original point, which is what do I think of the aliens in Mexico? Giorgio Tsoukalos, who's one of the most prolific ancient astronaut theorists, who's the producer of Ancient Aliens on the History Channel, who's like literally tours the country talking about the ancient astronaut theory and knows everybody from Eric von Daniken and all these other people that talk about ancient astronaut theory, for the last 5 years has known about this supposed alien life form in Mexico that was from Peru, apparently, and he's never seen it in real life. So you're telling me the guy that's circumnavigated the globe, that's got 27 seasons or whatever of episodes about ancient astronaut theory, is not going to go and look at a freaking ancient alien? Like, come on, bro. So it's just like, if Giorgio hasn't seen it, that ain't real. That's a psyop. It's paper mache. It's papier-mâché, as the kids say. Somebody says, how do I not have a bajillion followers? I don't know. You got to share my stuff more. Somebody said, literally the only content creator who dives deep and makes sense. Thank you so much. Papier-mâché. Yeah, it's a paper-mâché alien. It's a fake alien. It's not real. I don't buy it. I don't think any of it's true. It's basically, it's an alien made of cake. It's if Giorgio does, look, if you have a show called Ancient Aliens, you got 25 episodes, you've literally gone to every historic ancient alien site in the history of time, read every single book. You have crazy zany hair and you're always wearing brown pants, a belt. You have that little thing that I just told you about, like the super secret glider made of gold that was found in like Tutankhamun's fucking tomb that like is perfectly aerodynamic and can fly like 50,000 years later. If you haven't gone to see the alien and you've known about it for 5 years, that ain't real. That is not a real alien. If Giorgio's not there, I'm not going. You know what I'm saying? If it doesn't pass the Giorgio sniff test, that shit's paper mache, guys. I'm just saying, papier-mâché, if you ask me. Like, If it doesn't get the Giorgio stamp of approval, it ain't real. Like, that's my rule. Like, an alien could land in my front yard, and I would be like, BRB. Like, I got to DM Giorgio real quick. And if Giorgio doesn't say it's good, it ain't good, dude. Like, I'm not buying it. So did I see the red hot chili pepper thing? I don't know what that is. Jessie is still in the chat on TikTok, even though I said she was a ChatGPT Bangladeshi chatbot. Jessie, I appreciate you. Thank you for sticking around and not being mad, because that was a targeted, targeted attack. Deepest apologies on that. Somebody said, since we're going there, what's your thoughts on Antarctica? In Antarctica, there's been multiple. There was like Russ asked this question on Facebook. He said, what are your thoughts on Antarctica? First of all, some people say Antarctica is a psyop. Look, I know allegedly human persons that have been to Antarctica. I think it's a real location. It's owned by nobody or whatever. I bet the U.S. has bases there. But anyways, on Ancient Aliens, and I've seen some information about it in the past. There was supposedly like a back in the day. I think it was before air travel. I think it was like in the early 1900s. Man, that's a weird thing to say, 1900s. Over 100 years ago, where the United States did like this expedition in Antarctica, where there was like a number of ships, and they were like looking for like a military outpost or something, and they allege this was like a written record. They allege that like they saw like some orb or some shit go into this like under icicle like cave place, and there's like a story where these guys that were working for the U.S. military intelligence agencies like found like a crystal city in Antarctica. Let me see if I can Google it. And it's crazy. And they said there was aliens there. Okay, listen to this. It says, yo, dude, fuck. USA Today is like, fact check. There's no cities in Antarctica. Yeah, that's what seed oils would say. USA Today. You can shove it up your brown eye. Like CNBC's, like USA Today is going to tell us the freaking truth. Yeah, Richard Byrd. So Richard Byrd, let me look it up just so I can read it real quick. During an Arctic expedition, naval officer Richard Byrd makes a very unusual discovery in this clip from Section 18 of Ancient Aliens called "Crystal City Discovered Under Antarctica." I gotta look up Antarctica. Richard Byrd. Yeah, he like found a crystal city. See if I can find no site wants to touch it. They're like, nope, don't talk about that. Crystal City. I can't find it anywhere other than Ancient Aliens. They don't want you to know about that. Anyways, in this video, he alleges to discover this crystal city. This was in 1912. Let's see if I can find it on here. Yeah, here it is. Early Antarctic expeditions. I don't know. I got to look more into it, but look it up. Richard Byrd, B-Y-R-D. He was the youngest admiral in the U.S. Navy, and he like found a crystal city. I don't know. I can't find it anywhere on. I can't find it anywhere online, but it's out there. The truth is out there. But this guy was like a distinguished member of the Navy, and he like conducted a bunch of expeditions to Antarctica, and he suggested that he found like a crystal city. So like, I believe it. Somebody on TikTok said, my friend's boyfriend worked in Antarctica. He had to sign an NDA. Why is Raytheon in Antarctica? Yeah. Why is a great question. He had a pet dog named Igloo. This guy's the boss. Richard E. Byrd. I believe it. Yeah, like why is it why is it not like why do they not want us to know about the Crystal City? I think that he found a Crystal City with aliens. Can I give Sandy Bobandy a birthday shout out? Happy birthday, Sandy Bobandy. Found it. People are looking up Richard Byrd. Yeah, like, did Richard Byrd find a Crystal City of aliens? Probably. I would say yes. Like, you're gonna, like, you have the youngest admiral of the Navy of all time, and then you're gonna just say, like, nah, this guy just lied. He just joins the Navy, goes on expeditions to Antarctica, is like the most decorated naval officer ever, and then he says something, and it's like, no. Okay. All right. Let's all just believe that. I think there's probably aliens living in Mount Shasta, California, in the montaña, inside Mount Shasta. I think that's highly prob. And they're not eating 7-Eleven coffee breath corn penis either. So do with that what you will. But yeah, Richard Byrd definitely highly prob. I think that somebody says, do you have any thoughts on the cell phone test they're doing on October 4th? No, I don't have any thoughts. I've certainly seen some squirrely takes about what it is, but I don't know, man. Like, there's a lot of notifications that go to your cell phone. I've gotten some notifications before. I don't know that it's like got this nefarious, maybe, but I don't know. I don't know enough about it. Tim Martin says he also confirms flat earth / ice wall. Yeah, I don't think the earth is flat, personally. Like, maybe, but probably not. I'm going to say no. I think that there's curvature to the earth, and I think that that's more than obvious. But apparently people don't like that. They're like, every image is fake. It's like, is it? I saw somebody the other day say that they're like, every image of the earth is fake. I was like, is it? Is that true? Somebody said they just sent me the Californication thing. Yeah, I saw that going around. I don't know. I didn't really pay much attention to it. Yo, did you see Alexa's response to who wins the 2024 presidential election? No. Alexa is a psyop. They could program that to say whatever they want just to tickle everybody's grundle. It's like, who cares what that says? I don't. They're just like throwing people off. Who does it say wins? Kamala Harris? I'm pretty sure that's old news. There's like, Kamala Harris is the president. I don't care what Alexa says personally. Thanks, Kathy. See you later. Yeah. So anyways, it says there's no 2024 election, probably because it hasn't happened yet. Who even cares? I mean, look, I get it, but I don't know. Who cares? It's like Alexa's a psyop. It's getting us off the scent. It's making stuff up. Alexa says there's no winner. Yeah, well, Alexa's programmed by Jeff Bezos and like all those serpents. So, I don't know. Who cares? Thank you, Katie, for the roses. Ooh, rose smells so good. Rose smells so good. Rose smells so good. Glizzy Goblin. Glizzy Goblin. I'm a Glizzy Goblin. Trying to juice up my TikTok numbers. Ooh, Glizzy so tasty. Glizzy so good. Kay says me a rose. Ooh, rose. Glizzy so tasty. Glizzy in your balloon knot. glizzy in your balloon knot. I need 1,000 horses and a sling blade. What the hell does that mean? Ice cream's so good. So anyways, in conclusion, I think that advanced life forms existed on Earth many, many times, were likely wiped out in natural cataclysms. Human life is probably interplanetary, perhaps multi-galaxy. I think that there's too many stories about sky people coming. I was just watching Ancient Aliens last night, and it was talking about how there's like this tribe, and I don't even know where they are. I want to say somewhere, maybe it was in like Alaska. I don't even remember where, or not Alaska, maybe like Hawaii. It doesn't even matter. But there was like this ancient people where maybe it was the Philippines. I don't know. But they were talking about how the sky people came from this star called Sirius. But they didn't come from the large star of Sirius. They came from the small star of Sirius. Like they knew, hundreds, thousands of whatever years ago, through all their folklore, that they came from a smaller planet called Sirius B, that we named Sirius B. So there's a planet called Sirius, and then there's another planet, or not a planet, but whatever, a star, whatever the fuck, like a star, whatever. I don't even know. You Google it. But there's Sirius A and there's Sirius B. It's like two separate stars. And Sirius A is visible by the naked eye, but Sirius B is only visible using a telescope. And they said these sky people came with information and intelligence from Sirius B, the smaller of two planets from Sirius, like 1,000 years ago or 10,000 years ago, wherever it was, when there was no feasible way for anybody to know that there was a smaller star, Sirius B. And it's like that in conjunction with all of these other anomalies just don't make sense. So it's like, how are you going to go and say that hunter-gatherers, like with their Pen 15 flopping around, wearing like shawls, were carrying like multi-ton, like 50-ton rocks up a freaking pyramid, and then covered the pyramid in like gold plating, and then there's liquid mercury inside these pyramids, and like perfectly aerodynamic, like perfectly sized things in the pharaoh's tomb 1,000 years ago, with like petroglyphs of sky people coming down and like telling them information, and then they clap the humans, they like bang the human woman and have like giant children and stuff. Like, how are you going to take the totality of all these stories across every single continent at a time where it was impossible for a person to get from one continent to the next continent? Like, how are you going to take all the totality of these stories and be like, nope, that's not true. Like, we're just tadpoles that came out of the grass. It's like, nope, probably not. It's like, probably not. Probably not, that's what I think, but whatever, tickle my grundle. That's just my opinion. But like, if you're going to, and then you have things like, I think it's in England, near, Stonehenge. There's like this long series of rocks, outside of Stonehenge that's like in this strange pattern that almost looks like the pattern, like a pattern that you would have of like sensors on like a motherboard, basically, or like, power, whatever, on like a motherboard or a computer chip. And they're all made of quartz, which is like this highly conductive type of rock material, whatever, that's like plugged into the ground, which is basically like an energy source. And they're like all in this pattern to basically make like a huge charging station of like natural charge from the planet. And this is all like near Stonehenge. I forgot what it's called. And there's just like no explanation for why this is this way. And it's like, how did they know to use quartz? How did they know that it could conduct electricity? How did they know that the ground, or not electricity, but energy? How do they know that the ground had that energy? It's just like, why are all of these things perfectly equidistant around on all these like, energy lines around the planet, and then perfectly aligned with like the North Pole, and perfectly aligned with these star systems? It's like, how could you possibly think all that stuff is just fake? And then like all of a sudden we have this alien that like they reveal in like a box in Mexico on like a Randall Wednesday. And they're just like, and then Giorgio Tsoukalos doesn't go check it out. Like, I don't buy it. It's paper mache. No. CC says, every time you go live, it makes my day night. Thanks, CC. Appreciate that. So yeah, it's all fake. Everything's stupid. They're lying to everybody. There are aliens, but they live under the sea. They're definitely not just like creepazoiding out in some weird box. They're probably shape-shifting humanoids, or they're just like energy orbs, or they would never even need to bring their physical bodies up here anyways. So whatever. Somebody said, I can't believe you're talking about this right now. We were just talking about you in this exact conversation. I jump on your live and speaking about this exact topic. God is mysterious. For sharks, it's definitely a lot of ski bop, a lot of weirdo stuff happening. Somebody says Nibiru is real, which is the origin of the Anunnaki. Yeah, the Anunnaki, definitely real, definitely bird people. The first written language was from the Anunnaki. They wrote ancient Sumerian on the tablets. Definitely highly suspect. No written language, and then these like bird gods come down, and they're just like half bird, half person, and they're huge. And people are like, nope, we are just tadpole. We're tadpoles crossed with a monkey. It's like, okay. We were just hunter-gatherers until a bird life form that was 10 feet tall came down and clapped all the chicks. It's like, yeah, seems highly probabilidad, you know? Meanwhile, people are out here just like throating 7-Eleven bananas, like thinking nothing of it. They're like, why does this taste like gasoline? Somebody says, have I ever met Giorgio Tsoukalos? I wish. That would be sick. Thank you, Steve, Steve says, love your videos that make fun of the establishment. Appreciate that. Anything suspicious about September 23rd? I don't know anything about September 23rd. I haven't been following those types of psyops as of late. I don't know. But yeah, a million universes seems less likely than what I'm seeing. I don't know. I think there's somebody said they missed the echo microphone. I'll bring it out. I have it in the closet. Don't forget that they had 3 dirt stars. Wait, what? The alien has 3 dirt stars? That's how you know this shit's not real. It's like, oh, a paper mache alien was revealed on a Wednesday. This is where context clues really play in, where I think people would really do well if they were to pay attention to context clues. All right, let's just pretend that you have the first ever alien life form that's going to be publicly exposed to the entire planet. Let's just pretend that you have that. You not only do you have one, you have 2. You have 2 alien life forms that are for the first time ever in human history going to be exposed to the entire planet. Okay? Let's just say that that's the case. Not only do you have them, but you had them for 5 years. 5. You had these alien life forms for 5 years, that's what they're saying. They were found in a cave in Peru in 2017 or whatever. Fine. Let's just say that that's true. Okay? You have an alien life form, and you're going to reveal it to the world. You have 5 years to prepare. You're going to tell me that in that 5 years, you wouldn't have gotten the expert scientific proof and come with the receipts from every possible imaginable scientist to disprove or prove whether or not this was true beforehand? You would have had a 3D rendering of what the alien would have looked like when it had its flesh and goo on it with its real eyeballs. You would have had a 3D rendering, and you would have said, here's on the life form where this is what we think it would have looked like. This is how it walked. This is how it moved. This is how it operated. This is the type of ship we found it in. Here's the ship, or here's how we found it. Here's the fucking cave we found it in. Here's what it looked like when we found it. It was rolled up in a ball, or was sitting in the corner, or was sitting next to a fire pit roasting marshmallows, or whatever. They'd be like, here's how we found it. Here's what it looks like. Here's what it was wrapped in. Here's the location where we found it. Here's the scientific analysis that proves that it's real. Here's what we think it would have looked like. Here's a 3D rendering of it operating, walking around, tickling its bag. Here's what it looks like when it claps the other aliens, when it like beep borps into the other one's dirt star. Here's how they reproduce. Here's where its pen 15 is. Here's where its receptacle, here's where its mouth hole is. Does it eat? Does it drink? What does it have on the inside? What are the internals of it? Here's what we think they are. It would have had all those things. They would have had those things ready. And then before they revealed it, they would have given you all the facts. Here's what we think it looks like, and we're going to reveal it on Saturday. It would have been a prime time thing. You could have done it at Madison Square Garden at 8 p.m. on a Saturday night. You could have sold tickets for $1,000 a fucking ticket. The place would have been sold out to the brim. You could have had Theo Vaughn do an opener. He'd be like, aliens? What the heck do we know about that? You could have revealed it just with a spotlight, and the whole planet would have been like, what? Like, you could have made it a pay-per-view. You're telling me people are here paying pay-per-view to watch Jake Paul fight some dude, but they're not going to watch pay-per-view to watch some fucking alien get revealed? Like, but no, guys, they're just going to unveil it in a fucking box on a Wednesday in Mexico. They're like, like, are you joking me? Like, how? You gotta be dumb. I'm just saying, if you just think about the context clues, it's like no person, like if I found a new species of fucking lizard in my backyard, so much so that the whole planet would be interested because no planet's ever seen this lizard before in the history of time, you think I'm just going to like reveal it on Wednesday on a live stream to 5 people? Like, no. You'd have all the proof. They've been like, here's a 3D rendering, and it's going to be released on Saturday. It's like, they wouldn't have been like, here it is, it's in a box. I saw a video of a guy carrying it like he was carrying it like this. It's like the most the most advanced alien life form in human history gets revealed, and some jabron is just holding it in his hands like it's a fucking like it's a can of spit. Like, what? Why are you touching that? Like, what? No, like that, there's no way. Whatever. I'm just saying, if that's real, there's no way. It's totally a psyop. And it's like, why were the aliens there? How did they get there? Did they have shoes? Did they have a hat? Did they have a baseball cap? Was there a ship? What was around them? Did they eat something? What did they eat? Were there leaves there? Were they just eating rocks? Like, it doesn't make any GD sense, Bill. But they're like, here, let's dump it on a Wednesday. And it's like Dwight from The Office says some dumb shit. It's like the Dwight from The Office story, like pushed the alien story. Like, no one even cares. It's E.T. It's paper mache. Yeah, like Carmen says, it's a paper mache alien. It's like it's gonna end up being some psyop, and like they're gonna like as far as I'm concerned, the next thing that they would do is like they're gonna like cut open the alien. They like open it up, and on the inside it's like, go to DraftKings and buy $100 at DraftKings and we'll give you $200 back. It's like that's what it's gonna end up being. But people are like, no, it's real. Grr. It's not real. It's from DraftKings. It's a paper mache DraftKings fake, like, you know. They're going to be like, it's from the MGM Grand. It's like, Somebody says, I want to see David Copperfield make an alien disappear and reappear on the Statue of Liberty. Yeah, you and me both, Anthony. It's a paper mache alien. Yeah, paper mache alien. That's pretty good. Yeah, it's a paper mache alien. Meanwhile, there's a crystal city of actual aliens in Antarctica. Richard Byrd went there, and no one wants to know about it. But whatever. Don't worry, guys, because we just built a pyramid that's perfectly aligned with the stars, with star systems a quadrillion miles away that nobody even knew existed. But we made a perfectly aligned star system, like a thousand blocks on top of each other. It took 300 years to build, but nobody knows how it was built. And by the way, it was coated in gold. It was just done by guys that couldn't figure out that like certain berries are poisonous, but they managed to create a fucking power plant out of a bunch of rocks that are like perfectly sealed together with no mortar. But whatever, who cares? Just lasted for like 100 million years, but whatever. Don't worry, guys. It's like, do people even understand that there's still parts of the pyramid that we have not explored to this day? It's right there. And they're just like, nah. But meanwhile, people are like, did you know that Joe Biden's going to get impeached? It's like, I don't even care. Open the pyramid, you know? Tell us about the aliens. But whatever, the world is trash. Nothing can be trusted. Everything's stupid. The world is dumb. All right. With that being said, thanks for coming. Thanks for having your grundle tickled. Appreciate it. The world's stupid. Everything's on fire. No one can be trusted. The alien's fake. It's paper mache, and everything's dumb. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. Thanks for being here. Much appreciated. Peace.